Testament of Eleazar the Great. My son, when thou wakest from thy sleep at midnight, converse with thy wife in chaste terms, using no indecent expression, even in jest. If thou wakest at other hours, let not thy heart indulge in impure fancies, for evil thoughts lead to evil deed. My son, keep a vessel of water always near thy cup. On rising in the morn, do not begin dress before washing thy hands, nor receive thy garments from another in the same condition. For the spirit of uncleanliness rests on the hands. Pass not thy unwashed hands over the eyes, intending harm to an enemy, lest thou pot fail, and the glaze prove blame pull to thy friends, through harmless to thy foes. My son, keep thy body pure, cleanse abode of thy soul. Beware lest thou make it testable, and thy cause of thine own rejection. My son, be not impatient when I thus insist on this subject. Washing of the hands is of the sublime things which stand on the height of the world. Beware lest by neglect in the regard of thou be is one of the most excommunicated and forfeit future bliss. For when thou washest thy hands, thou art bound to stretch them to the high in admiration of thy Maker, and when unseemly to do so with foul fingers. My son, never dress thyself without benediction. Even as a man should offer thanks for the enjoyment of food, so must they do for the gift of remnant. He who dresses without blessing shall wear worn and clothed in the grave. The worms cause as much pain to the dead as a needle to raw flesh. My son, in the house of learning speak no idle words, but incline thy ear to the discourse of the wise. Consider nothing neglectable and despise no man, for many pures are found in the poor man's tunic. My son, be zealous in visiting the sick, for sympathy lightens pain. Urge the patient to return as a pendant to his Maker, and pray for him and depart. Do not fatigue him by staying too long, for his malady is heavy enough already. Enter cheerfully, for his heart and his eyes are also those that come in. My son, comfort the mourner, and speak to their heart. The companions of Job were held punishable merely because they reproached him that they should have consoled him. Thus it is written, Ye have not spoken to me the thing that is right, as my servant Job has. My son, join in the bringing the bride to the canopy. Help gladden the bridegroom. For he who acts thus is though he is participated in the nuptial ceremony for giving the law at Sinai. My son, show honor to a poor man and draw out thy soul upon him. Be punctilious and offer thy gift in secret, not in public gaze. Give him food and drink in thy house, and do not watch him while he eats. His soul famishes, and perchance he pronounces on the vegans. My son, crush not the poor man with harsh words, for the Lord will plead his cause. Such conduct arouses on high many accusers, to whom there is no defense. But he who treats the poor with goodwill and generosity acquires intercessors to plead his cause. My son, enter not thy house suddenly, still, lest enter the neighbor's house without announcement. Make not thyself too much feared in thy home, for this is the cause of many evils. My son, drive anger out of thy heart, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools, and a strange God rests in their head. My son, love the wise, and attach thyself to them. Seek to know thy Maker, for that as the soul shall be without knowledge is not good. Salute all men, and speak truth. My son, be chaste, and self-restrained in all thy actions. When thou sittest at the table to eat, remember thou art in the presence of a king. Be not a snatcher or a glutton. Wash thy hands before and after a meal, for both actions are essential. For drinketh while the resting or eating, do not obtusely recite benediction over the wine. Speak not during the meal, nor even words of Torah. Nevertheless, my son, never omit to discourse of the Torah afterwards, for the table whereat there is no discourse of the Torah, it is full of filthy vomit, and in all present is not their thoughts. My son, when thou visitest the sick who is without means, go not to him with empty hands. When he awakes, be quick to offer refreshment to him, and he will esteem as though thou didst uphold to restore his soul. The Lord will requite thee. My son, reveal not thy secret to thy wife, and be faithful the spirit. Be faithful the spirit to all. Betray not another's confidence, even thou art at strife with him. My son, eat herbs rather than beg from others, and thou beggest, ask only for thine absolute need. Prefer death unto making thyself a burden unto thy fellow creatures. My son, it is incumbent on thee to beget children and to rear them up in the study of Torah. For their sake wilt thou be worthy of eternal life. My son, be aware lest thy wife be over generous to her first son-in-law. Appoint not a latter as an administrator over thy household. Approach not thy wife near her menstrual period. Avoid all grossness. Hold aloof from what is foul and what has appearing of the foulness. My son, be on thy guard, for the least thou provoke one of the wise, for his anger is a viper of venom, a poison of the basket, which will not be charmed. But if there be a death in such a one's wrath, there is life in his good will. My son, walk not alone, judge not alone, testify not alone, nor witness and judge at the same time. None may judge alone save one. My son, be not cause of plaint to the orphan or the widow, for God is the father of the fatherless and the judge of the widows. Rob them not, seeing that he has already been deprived them of all their happiness. Hence, he will despoil of the life those that despoil them. My son, keep far from the wicked neighbor, and from him whose reputation is evil. For what they say to him below accords with what they say to him on high. My son, rejoice not when thy enemy falleth, and let not thy heart be glad and when they stumbleth, lest the Lord see it and be displeased with him, and he turn away from his wrath from him unto thee. But if thy enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. My son, be not as a fly over a fellow's men, sore leaving the healthy parts of the pouching of the plague sport. Cover thy neighbor's diseases. Lie not his corruption bare to the world. My son, hasten to perform of the duty, and let it not seem the light in thy eyes. Say not, this is the light, it is important, for thou knowest not to grant the reward to each. Let all thy deeds be done in the name of heaven. My son, be not righteous over much, neither be over work much, drinking water left over from the lips of thy friend. For the breath of the cometh out within his throat, thou art unaware that he is suffering from disease. Be bashful in all matters, but offend not thyself at the cost of thy health. Yet in the house of study thou modest. Behave there was one unlearned, even though they comrades laughed at thee for it. My son, sit not in the company of the calumniators or the slanderers, for all is noted on high, and it is recorded in the book that they are precense and inscribed the least of the fenders. My son, weed not an unworthy woman. Woe to the tarnished who tarnished his seed. Absalom and Adoniah, offspring, such a union, wrought many evils to Israel. They were unchastened and stirred up rebellion. My son, have no marital intercourse with thy wife while she is suckling your child. Do not leave an infant in the cradle alone in the house by day or night, nor pass thou the night alone in any abode. For under such circumstances Lilith sees man or child in her fatal embrace. My son, zealously bring up thy children in the study of the law. Withdraw them not from it. For he who acts shortens his life, and the Holy One weeps over such a day by day. My son, drink not water that has been left uncovered overnight. My son, give unto the Creator his share of thy food. This, God's portion, belongs to the poor. Therefore, select the choicest viands and thy table, and present them to our Maker. Thou shalt not curse the death, but thou shalt fear thy God. Amen.